Good evening, Bison Nation, and welcome back to the Bison Information Network. I'm Ethan Birnbaum, and tonight I'll be keeping you up to date with the latest campus news. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for sticking with us. As finals week comes to a close, we hope you've had success in each of your classes. I know I'm extremely excited to have school finally slowing down. With that being said, it's important to remember that the bookstore still offers the opportunity to buy back your old and used books from this semester. This chance to score some quick cash right in time for the holidays will be ending tomorrow, December 15th. In the off chance you've left campus already for home, the option to ship in books to be sold is still available, so don't wait. Specific information regarding what books can be sold and their price points can be accessed at www.ndsubookstore.com/buybackrental. On a more somber note, the NDSU Faculty Department has announced the date for their Day of Honor. This ceremony, dedicated to the remembrance of NDSU students and faculty and staff who have passed away during the 2023 calendar year, was first held in 2013. Since then, it's become an annual event that continues to bring closure and a sense of community in remembering those around us we've lost. The next scheduled Day of Honor will take place on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. If you know a member of our campus community who has passed away in 2023, the university asks that you visit their NDSU Day of Honor webpage to complete a submission form for the event. The final date these forms will be accepted is January 26th, 2023. Now, moving on to news from around our community. You'll be happy to hear that a decorated veteran of the Grand Forks Police Department will be retiring in late December after a long and prosperous career. And who might this member be? None other than the K9 Shelby, the police dog with the longest running career in the department's history. After working in hundreds of deployments that included drug searches, apprehensions of suspects, aiding the SWAT team, and supervising public demonstrations, Shelby will finally be hanging up the collar at the age of 11. She'll be adopted by her longtime handler, Sergeant Ebertowski, spending the rest of her time with him and his family. It's hard to ask for a better ending. A recent NDSU graduate is looking to the community for help and offering a $10,000 reward for anybody that can bring forward information that leads to the person responsible for a hit-and-run crash that killed his mother in central Minnesota. Shan Donovan's mother, Kathy, was killed while walking her dogs across Highway 169 in Mille Lacs County near Anomia. The crash occurred on the afternoon of November 13th, leaving Shan Donovan without his mother. Investigations are currently looking for a dark-colored vehicle with full-width taillights that was traveling northbound near Grand Casino, Mille Lacs. However, even still, all leads have proven fruitless, prompting the $10,000 reward. This tragedy has since left Donovan reeling and trying to adjust to the emotional circumstances forced upon him. If you have any information on this crash, please contact your local police department. One of the North Dakota's holidays traditions will be returning in style this year as the CPKC holiday train makes its rounds through some North Dakota towns this weekend. The holiday train, decked out in Christmas lights and hosting live performers from its train cars, will be working to put on a spectacle for the 6 communities that it moves through along its route. These towns include Hankinson, Enderlin, Carrington, Harvey, Minot, and Kenmare. Each town will be visited either Friday or Saturday night before traveling to the Saskatchewan province of Canada. The full schedule of the train can be found on the CPKC Holiday Train website, so give it a peek if you'd like to see it. There's some changes in speculation happening in Washington right now around the drug mifepristone, a doctor-prescribed drug that can be used to end pregnancies in up to the 10th week. The Supreme Court said Wednesday that it will consider whether it will restrict access to this widely used abortion drug, even in states where the procedure is allowed. The drug, used by millions of women, has been on the market for over 2 decades, and right now is one of the most common ways to terminate a pregnancy in states where the practice hasn't been banned. In recent years, the FDA has made the drug more easily accessible. Now, however, mifepristone is back in hot water, as the hot topic of abortion is once again thrown into the political mix right before the 2024 presidential election. As of now, the Supreme Court will start their hearings, and there's speculation that the case that determines the drug's fate nationwide could be decided by July of 2024. That's all we've got for news this week at the Bison Information Network. After the break, we'll be turning over to Vinny, who will be covering the latest in your Bison sports. And if you can't get enough there, make sure to tune into our latest episode of Bison Overtime on our YouTube page, where Bison Sports, along with pro sports, are explored more in depth. We'll catch you after the break.
One kid, one mentor, plus one moment can unlock limitless potential. One heart-to-heart, one inside joke. 30,000 youth are waiting. Be there for one of them. It's time. Become a big today.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
Founded in 1985, the Missouri Valley Football Conference has established a tradition of FCS football excellence. Competing at the highest level of NCAA Division I, student athletes at its 10 institutions demonstrate character, passion, and integrity as they grow as a student, an athlete, and a citizen. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, where leaders are shaped and champions are forged.
There are so many great things to experience at NDSU. It's hard to pick one, but my favorite is
the people. They make it such a warm place. The Bison aren't just across the country, they're across the globe.
It's the perfect distance from home. The faculty are our biggest cheerleaders. Hands-on research experience. The affordable tuition.
All the opportunities to stay active on campus.
Real-world learning experiences.
once I got on campus, it felt like home.
Welcome back as we get into Bison Sports. To start, we will look back to the past weekend as Bison football team traveled to Vermilion as they faced the number 3 seed South Dakota. The Bison were looking to get their revenge as South Dakota gave them their first loss earlier in the regular season. The stakes were high as the semifinals were on the line. Starting off in the first quarter, the Bison elected to receive as they have been doing all season. It has been working in their favor, and that streak continued as Cam Miller rushes into the end zone for the first score of many for the Bison. South Dakota responded with a field goal. Then it was all Bison for the first quarter, with the Bison scoring twice in the last 2 minutes. As Cole Payton showed off what he could do with his legs, scoring a touchdown, and Jaden Price showing what he can do on special teams as he saw the end zone, finishing the quarter with a score of 21-3. As we head to the second quarter, the Bison kept the pressure on the Coyotes as the Bison saw themselves scoring 2 more touchdowns as they went up 35-3. As fans know, you cannot catch up with the Bison when they are up that big. So, for the Bison, with a final of 45-17, they advanced to their 12th semifinals of the last 13 years. As Cam Miller led the way, throwing over 200 yards and having a combined total of 2 touchdowns. As a two-headed monster of quarterbacks, Cole Payton ran for 2 touchdowns and 50-plus yards. As Eli Green led the receivers, having over 100 yards. Looking at the defense, Cole Wininski had his own island with 2 picks on the day. As NDSU moves on, they will be playing for a trip to Frisco as they will be traveling back to Montana as they take on the number 2 seed Montana Grizz. Kickoff will be on December 16th at 3:30 p.m. You can tune in on ESPN Plus or ABC North Dakota. Let's go to another sport in Fargo, North Dakota, the Bison basketball team. As I'm sure you all saw the news for the game that they played earlier this week. Before we get into that, the Bison hosted Portland at the Shack as the Bison led Portland 36-33 after the half. The Bison came out on a roll, steaming past Portland with a final of 78-67. Andrew Morgan led the way for the Bison as he scored 16 points and 6 assists. Now, the game heard around the nation as NDSU took on Oak Hill this past Sunday as the Bison ran through them, with the final score being 108-14. I'm sure you all have seen the memes and videos on the game, as Lance Waddles led the way, scoring 19 points and 8 rebounds. After the blowout, the Bison will play a complacent team not full of players off the street as they travel to Illinois as they play the Redbirds at 3 p.m. And this can be watched on ESPN Plus or listened to on 107.9 The Fox. Turning over to the women's basketball, they were on the road for both games that they played over the past week. As they were hoping to continue their 2-game win streak, that streak unfortunately came to an end as they fell short to Drake with a final of 67-77. With Heaven Hamlin trying her best as she put up 15 points in the Bison's losing efforts. The Bison looked to bounce back as they traveled over to Iowa State, while things did not go to plan for the Bison as they got destroyed 59-89. As for the second straight game, Heaven Hamlin was the highlight as she put up 18 points for the Herd. The Bison are looking to regroup as they play their last non-conference game as they will be hosting a struggling Central Michigan on Wednesday, December 20th. Tip-off will happen at 7 p.m. and can be watched on ESPN Plus and listened to on Bison 1660. In wrestling news, the Bison stayed close to town as they traveled to Minnesota, as they were dropped 4 straight matches in a row, losing 33-7, as the standouts that won their match were both named Gavin, as number 29th ranked Gavin Darsler beat his opponent 4-2, and Gavin Sox beat number 15 ranked Andrew Sparks. Bison looked to snap their losing streak as they travel to face Campbell at 12. At 2, they will be facing Purdue, and lastly at 4, they will be playing Stanford. These matches can be watched on ESPN Plus. Looking over our last sport of the day, track and field had their Dakota Alumni Classic as they captured 9 event titles in that meet, as their next event won't happen for a while as it's set for January 13th. So a new season of track and field won't be here for a little bit. Speaking of a little bit, we might have to wait for some warm weather, as today we have a new weatherman, Logan. Logan, what is the weather outside like?
Well, right now, Vinny, it's actually surprisingly very nice. We're seeing right now, we have current conditions here of 39 degrees. That is extremely warm for December in Fargo, especially mid-December. Winds 15 miles an hour out of the south, so not too bad of winds. Typically, we like to see a little bit lower winds if we had our choice, but I'm not complaining about it. And then overnight, hour by hour, it's going to kind of stay about the same. We're not going to get below those 30s. It's going to stay about the same. When you go to bed tonight and you wake up in the morning, won't feel a big difference. It will be overcast, though, but it's going to stay warm at least. And then for our skycast, it's getting really short, NDSU. I'm sorry. We have only 8.5 hours of total sun. 8:04 we had a sunrise, 4:38 a sunset. And then our moon phase right now, we're in a waxing crescent, and we're going to see a first quarter moon next Tuesday. Now, today's almanac, we have, like I said, 46, extremely warm, only 2 degrees off that high in 1998 of 48 degrees. Low of 29, which really beats that low of -32 that we saw in 1901. And across the country, we're starting to see it cool down a lot, especially in the Rockies. We're starting to see those 20s, even getting down into Texas and Arizona, which I'm sure they're thrilled about. And then up in the northeast, we're seeing temperatures as low as 19 in Maine, and they're starting to creep down into that northeast and along the east coast. Right now, the only warm place really is Florida, and even Florida is not warm by its own standards. So we are starting to see that December weather start to kick in a bit. And then our rain and snow forecast over the next 48 hours, we're going to see a little bit of snow up here in Fargo. Sorry to break it to you guys. but we're going to be getting a couple inches. No snowstorm yet, though, so nothing to panic about. And that's going to trickle into Minnesota and upper Wisconsin a little bit. And then we're going to see a lot of rain down the middle of the country and getting down into Florida. So we're going to see that whole Midwest get kind of soaked here, but the rest of the country very dry, and it shouldn't be anything to worry about. Like I said earlier, those blizzards are definitely coming, but they're not here yet. And then look at our 7-day forecast. We're going to see, like I said, a little bit of snow here Friday. It's going to start off as a rain, turn into a slush, and then a snow as the day goes on. And then a little bit of a drop in temperatures Saturday and Sunday, but we'll be sitting right around the 30-degree mark, which is pretty good for a Fargo December. And then for the next 4 days, we're going to see temperatures kind of hover between 20s and 30s as the weather tries to decide what it wants to do. Lows are going to dip into the teens, but we're going to get sunlight. We're going to get a lot of sun. We're going to get that cloud cover to kind of disappear over the next couple days. So definitely nothing to complain about there. And then, of course, like I said, blizzard season may not be here yet, but it definitely will show up over the next couple weeks. It's just a matter of when, not if. So you're going to want these things over the next couple of months in your car. You're going to want a full tank of gas as much as you can, believe me. Not a good idea to be driving around these highways with low gas. You're going to want an ice scraper, jumper cables, gloves or snow gear, a blanket, and the all-important phone charger. And then, of course, on a lighter note, our national days today, we have Free Shipping Day, My Favorite Monkey Day, National Alabama Day, and just in time for Christmas, Roast Chestnuts Day. That's all I have for the weather. Sending it back to you at the desk, Vinny.
Thank you, Logan, for that winter advice and our weather report. That is all that we have here tonight on the Bison Information Network. I'm Vinny Anderson, signing off for everyone here in the studio. Congratulations on surviving finals week. Enjoy your whole month off, and wish you guys all happy holidays.